In the intelligence community, the heart of everything is self-respect. Do you respect yourself enough to inform yourself before you make a decision? Do you respect yourself enough to resist coercive influences against you? Do you respect yourself enough to eat right, exercise, sleep well, etc., right? Okay. It is personal responsibility.
But you have to respect yourself to have the responsibility.
Bingo.
I gotcha. Yeah,
bingo.
Makes sense.
And unfortunately, I think that we live in a world that does not have a lot of self-respect.
100%. Yeah.
And you can see it.
Yeah.
We outsource our decisions. We outsource our responsibilities. We outsource everything to somebody else. We take diet pills instead of exercise, right?
I know.
We let Twitter become our news source, right?
I think Twitter is a really good news source, but it's dangerous like any other news source if you don't.
Twitter is not a news source. I will say that until I'm blue in the face. Twitter is a social media outlet. What is social media? Media produced by a social user. That's all it is. Can it carry a news story? Can a user share a news story? Yes. But Twitter is not a news source. Twitter does not journalistically vet or create anything original that goes out as a news piece that fits any of the requirements of journalism.
But plenty of those journalists are on Twitter.
Plenty of those journalists are on Twitter, and there are plenty of independent journalists on Twitter.
Right.
But it's still social media. Yeah. Well, what creates momentum in social media? The social users. Yeah. So an independent journalist creating a well-balanced journalistic piece versus an alarmist journalist creating something that's false but catchy, the social user base is what determines whether or not this one or that one wins the race. Yeah. Right? So again, not a news source. You go to the front of BBC, it doesn't matter how popular an article is, the top headline is the top headline. Right? It's not like it's a social race of likes and downvotes that decides what you see on BBC or what you see on Wall Street Journal or what you see in the Times of India.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Except for, like I said, all those sources are on there. Though, and look, I mean, I'm on social media. Like, I get DMs all day across all of them, and I'm sure you do as well. And I get all kinds of people send me all kinds of stuff, and I'm just like, man, this is just garbage. Like, how could you even send this?
Right.
And even people I know and I respect, and I'm like, come on, just look at this for a second, right? All the time. And I try to be very careful because I have a big reach, and I'm like, even if I do think it's true, it may not be worth me putting back out there, number one. So I have to think about that from one standpoint. But even two, it's like usually with just a couple of minutes of just like research, you could just kind of even just thinking through this, you could kind of realize if it's true or not. So I agree. There's definitely a cesspool, but this kind of goes back to, do we have enough people that self-respect themselves to take the time like I do to go through it?